cave
mean,
dweller.
once we're done with the recording, I just like pull down the rope ladder and climb back up to bed.
Gross.
Disgusting.
It's fine. It's fine.
I like the fact that I said you guys can make fun of me for falling asleep, and you guys are taking full advantage of that. Like, no holds barred.
You said we were like, no, it's
I
fine.
know.
gave
I deserve
permission.
it.
Kai
deserve
comes
it.
onto the
It's
call
fine.
and he's like, "You can make fun of me. I deserve it."
I
And then we
deserve
actually
it,
make
yeah.
fun of it, and he
Yeah.
thinks she doth protest too much. Protest too much, methinks,
No,
ma'am.
I deserve this. I deserve
Do you
this. I
bite
know.
your thumb at us, sir?
I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I do bite my thumb, sir. Ayo, Shakespeare buddies.
Hey!
Hey!
I don't need no thumbs right now. I just need three. Jesus Christ.
He doesn't need thumbs. No, you do need thumbs.
You
Like, you were on your phone for
do.
that long and you think you don't need a thumb?
You know, speaking about being on their phone before bed, I actually tried this one thing for the first time because I met up with some family members last night and they were telling me about, like, I guess how calm or like sleeping aid meditative apps are like doing fairly well like in the app market right now. And they told me about this app called Luna, spelled Loona. And I thought it was just like you just listen to a story. The way they described it made it sound like you were listening to a story and it's like something to follow as you like fall asleep. And I was like, well, that's good because like if I want to listen to a podcast that I actually like and if I end up falling asleep to it, like then I have to find out where I fell asleep at and then sort of listen from there. So I don't like doing that, but I want to listen to something. So I tried this app and it's actually like much cooler than that. So they like give you like your color scheme. This isn't my topic, by the way. I just wanted to share. But they have like a whole like color scheme for you to choose like 3 or more colors that you find particularly calming for yourself. And then you like choose these various settings and you're not really sure why. At first I thought it was just for like the stories that they were going to tell, but actually it was like this, they call it a dreamscape or something, or a soundscape or something like that. But essentially they sort of lead you through finding and filling in different things about this whole like landscape setting. And it's supposed to just be like really calm and meditative and something that doesn't require a whole lot of like brain power. So it's something for your brain to focus on, but not like, you know, but not like strenuous brain work that would like, it's supposed to help calm your mind down, like especially if you're wound throughout the whole day and then you do these like simple tasks and has a really soothing voice that leads you through it and an appropriate like background music and like ASMR like naturescapes and things like that in the background as well. And then it's sort of like, so they suggest that you do it an hour before you sleep and then they're like, okay, once the whole thing is done, they're like, now allow this music to like put you to sleep. And it worked. Like I conked out at like 11:15, which is like the earliest I've ever gone to bed in a very, very, very long time. So not a sponsorship, but it was an interesting first experience, especially since like many other like meditative apps are just like touch your toes or touch your knee, you know, breathe, feel what your stomach is feeling. You know what I mean? Like it's just sort of like, and not that, you know, self-awareness and mindfulness isn't necessary, because of course it is, but like somehow when you feel like that doesn't work, doing simple tasks that sort of take your mind off yourself can actually be a little bit helpful as well. So I was intrigued, but that's what, you know, you need your thumbs for that, Kai. That was the whole point.
That's the segue.
Well,
That
okay.
was
That,
yup.
I was
the
ready
segue.
I was ready to like jump in on this topic and everything.
Oh yeah, no, go right ahead.
I keep getting like advertisements for like apps on my phone that are like bedtime stories. Basically, it's like
That's what I
ebooks,
thought.
but
Yeah.
they just be. There's this one particular one that I keep getting about like the Sandman or whatever, and some guy with a really soothing voice.
That just sounds
With, like,
scary.
Read a snippet for it. It sounds really intense, but then it's about like this lady who's like trapped in her sleep or something like
Oh my
that. I'm just
God.
like, wow, that really promotes the idea of going to bed. Cool.
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's just
But,
forever.
I
Yeah.
didn't get the apps. Instead, it's just if I need a sleeping aid, like I need some sort of noise in the background, I'll just throw on like a 10-hour loop of like sitting by the fireplace in the rain, you know.
Yeah, I had considered that, but the thing is, like, with my phone, and it just like happens with YouTube apps and stuff like that, that you can't turn your screen off.
Yep.
And I just didn't want my battery power to burn throughout the night. So it was nice, like, with this app,
Yeah.
once you're done, like, coloring in and filling in the dreamscape or whatever, and they just say, like, hey, allow this music to put you to sleep, you can close your screen and this music will still continue.
Yeah. I
So
think the only way you can let YouTube videos continue to play with your screen off is if you pay for the YouTube Premium.
disgusting. I would never. It's not worth it. It's not worth it just for that. That's yucky.
Well, it lets you download videos too to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too.
It's not so much the battery I'm worried about. I have permanently burned an image onto my old phone that is now my mom's phone.
What have you done?
She took my old Samsung S7 as like a hand-me-down, and the attack interface of Fate Grand Order is permanently burned onto the pixels.
Oh no!
What does
So
that
no-
even mean?
It means like, you know, like ghost images where you like take a picture and then there's like it's overlapped with another picture, so it looks like there's like a faint, foggy other image in the picture.
Yes.
Imagine that, but no matter what she does on her phone now, which was my old phone, you'll see like the attack button from a mobile game just in the corner.
What the heck? How does that even happen?
I don't think it's
That's
the actual pixels.
That's how often
I think
you
it's
play
the
it?
I think I just left it on that screen overnight so long, and the attack button's always in the same place that it like, I think it burned something into the screen protector.
Oh my god.
There's just like the ghost of an image of like an attack button from a mobile
Oh my
game.
god. If it's possible to post that picture, could you?
I can try. I don't know if it's something that'll appear on camera, but I
Okay.
can certainly try.
Please try, because that's hilarious and I love that. That's delightful. But anyway, hello!
But anyway, hello.
Not even a topic, but hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys handling the early days of spring?
I was like, it's far from early. I just woke up late. I don't know what you mean.
I have the I'm sad because
You're sad.
well, it's gonna start getting warm, which
Mhm.
means like I like wintertime because I can have the window open and I can like stay nice and cool while I'm streaming.
Oh, I guess
Because
that's
I can
true,
have the
yeah.
window open and get the cold air go through, and it's just gonna get warmer and warmer, and my room gets the majority of the sunlight.
Oh no! So you just have
Oh,
a furnace for a
fun.
room.
Yep, so I'm gonna get to the point again that I am once again very warm. I have to clear off a corner of my
Wow.
desk where I can put my desk fan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a relatively quiet desk fan that I can use
Oh,
to,
that's good.
to keep me.
Like a nice Dyson fan or something.
Yeah, not even a Dyson. It's a $25 one from Walmart because
Oh,
you
nice.
can't get cheaper ones. Yep, and I just like clip it on there and.
Well, there we go.
DM's gonna be a hot potato
So she's a hot potato, but I'm a meatball.
because she's vegetarian.
Well, I don't want to be a meatball. Chat, Kai's been calling me a meatball for like days now, and I don't like it, and he won't stop. Just so you should know.
Well, I will continue to post sad cats in solidarity.
Thank you. That's all I ask. I just spam him with sad cats. Please and
No.
thank you. Yes.
No sad cats. No bread.
All the sad cats. Bread.
No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It's my birthday coming up. That's the
Where's the bread?
That means nothing.
I will
That
make
means
it
nothing.
when I get access to a kitchen I can film in.
You're gonna make bread.
I will make bread.
Well, we won't hold our
Bread.
breaths for
Our
bread.
Oh my god, I leaned back to stretch and my face got stuck.
What?
Back. My VC face stopped tracking.
Oh, okay,
Whoops.
okay. Ooh.
Well, to ensure that it doesn't get stuck again, Kai, why don't you go first?
Yes.
Why don't I go first? Well,
Yeah.
the fact that
It'll warm your voice up.
Yep.
that I forgot we had a recording and like
You didn't
overslept
forget.
is kind.
You didn't
I
forget,
didn't.
you fell
I'm trying to
asleep.
make a segue. Okay, I'm trying to make it relevant to my
You
topic.
can't. Segways are very
Stop
complicated
calling.
mechanical pieces of work.
You did this to yourself.
I did. I know. I looked at the clock when I went to bed, and I'm like, I'm screwed.
I'm screwed. That's
But-
okay.
The topic, I forgot.
Oh,
You didn't forget.
It's about things we forgot. I want to hear about any event in your life that is a block of time that you just have no recollection of, that you only know through other people telling you about you. I want to know
Is that
about
normal?
the gaps in your memory.
Is that
I've got at
normal?
least 2 stories. I mean, I've got at least 2 stories.
But once again, those are from other people telling you. Like, but is it normal to have large gaps of memory during an age? Like, so one of my friends in
Mhm.
high school, she has an autoimmune disease. And when I first met her freshman year, she was on steroids. And then sophomore year, they took her off the steroids and they put her either on a different kind of steroids or a different kind of meds completely. And she later admitted, like, maybe during our junior or senior year, that she has no recollection of sophomore year whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
whoa.
Yeah, because of the meds. And so that's the only reason I can think of, unless if, like...
So yeah, just tell us about the period of life when you were on steroids.
But that's what I mean. It's like I have no reason to have like these huge gaps of memory, unless if it was like a time in my life that really did not matter. But
I mean,
I don't know if I have that.
I've got a couple stories. When I was like under anesthesia. I mean,
Oh.
surgery would be a reason for it.
That's true.
And I don't-
That's fun.
I don't drink alcohol, but I assume you've been blackout drunk once or twice.
No, I've never been blackout drunk.
I've
You
never
always
either.
talk about alcohol.
I don't always
Yeah,
talk
but
about
that doesn't
alcohol.
mean-
Excuse me?
You always talk about alcohol
do
compared to how much
not.
I talk about alcohol.
Well, okay, but like do you
But that's not. There's fewer people that get blackout drunk than I think you know, Kai. It's not a very common occurrence to happen.
Yeah,
Is it really?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
that
it's
common. Like, you
not-
would have to
it's
drink a
not common.
lot.
Out of
Wow.
all of my friends, the only one that I ever knew that got absolutely blackout drunk and could not remember anything was she had an allergy to pineapple, and
no.
Oh.
some of the drinks that she was given had pineapple juice in them, and she didn't realize that, and
Pina
that's what
colada?
caused her to black out.
Oh no. That's terrifying.
Yep.
So all health related issue. This is really
Yeah.
the only huge lapses in memory.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's normal. I would say it's a health issue to like have a gap in your memory.
Well, I don't know if I've
Although
ever...
apparently severe depression can also cause like difficulty remembering things as well.
Mm.
But
Oh, I guess, yeah, because every day is sort of a monotonous blur and nothing's really meaningful.
I guess they
Yeah.
wouldn't be focused enough to remember that time.
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. Kai, since you have a couple stories already, maybe that'll like you'll set the
Jog
example.
Harune's memory. See?
Yeah.
I guess the first one is something I wouldn't know about myself because apparently I did it in my sleep. Someone told me when they woke me up.
Oh, that's great.
But I've actually told both these stories before on my own streams. But when I was in the last year of primary school here, which I guess is a little different based on how I talk about it with Harune, because for me, primary school means grade 1 to grade 8. But apparently that's because my school like put elementary and middle school together or whatever.
Well, also you went to
Yeah.
a private school, right?
I did go to a private Montessori school, yes.
Yeah, so like even here in the States, like Montessori schools and private schools and like Christian schools and things like that, all have like a different way of grouping and separating their grades. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
my
wouldn't say
school.
it's about the I'd say it's more about what school you went to.
My school basically had pre-kindergarten and then 3 years of kindergarten 1, 2, and 3, and then grades 1 to 8. So I was in that school for about 10 years. But in the last... Oh no, actually this might be first year of high school now that I think about it. Yeah, this might have been first year of high school. I got my story mixed up. But anyways, first year of high school, we had a camping trip with the entire first year. So we would rent out this large kind of event space with like a whole bunch of log cabins and like basically all these like activities like rope climbing and like tree swinging and etc. and whatever. And we would stay there for like 3 nights and 2 days. It was basically a week-long trip with
Okay.
with the whole year. And all the boys get their cabins, all the girls get their cabins. So it was the first time I had basically a sleepover with people who weren't my direct friends.
Well, that's
Um,
exciting.
And so we get there first day, everything was great. We had a campfire, there were s'mores involved, it was great. There was a rap battle.
There were s'mores involved. I do remember you telling me about the rap battle.
Yeah,
it
I remember
was
hearing
man,
that, yeah.
it was a thing. And so then we all tucked in our bunk beds, and it was my first time in a bunk bed, and I was really excited because I got the top bunk for once. And then I don't remember falling asleep because for some reason all the boys in the cabin started. Somebody played the Pokemon theme song on their phone, and everyone started singing along. Mind you, again, this was first year of high school. We were all nerds. And
I mean,
then
that sounds normal. I don't know what you mean.
and then I remember singing the song up to a certain verse, and then I just remember someone shaking me awake. I guess I passed out halfway into the song.
Mm,
And when I woke up, everyone was looking at me. This was like a cabin with like 8 guys, so like just waking up to 7 pairs of eyes on you is just like, oh, what the?
Right, you're like, what did I do? God.
Oh god, I'm looking
Yeah.
around. I'm like, I'm
Did
still in
I
my bunk.
fart?
I'm like, I'm still in my bunk. I didn't climb down and climb up and do something or whatever. It's just like, and they're just like, hey Kai. I'm like, yes. And they're like, did you know you meow in your sleep? And I'm just like, I beg your pardon. And they're like, yeah, like in the middle of the night, we kept hearing a cat.
I can't
And
believe Nemurenai Kai actually wants to be a cat
It's
VTuber.
Nemurenai Kai.
they're like, we thought it was on the roof or something, but then when we listened closely, it was like coming from above, like whoever's bunk. So they came and shone a flashlight in my face, which I don't recall at all. And they're just like, you were just like, you just kept going like, meow, meow, meow.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
And they're like, you did that for like half an hour. And I'm just like, oh my god.
They let it go for 30 minutes before they're like, no, we should probably wake him up.
They couldn't stop me, apparently. It took them that long to get me up, and I'm just like, oh no. Apparently I just kept being like, meow. It wasn't like a loud like meow kind of thing. It was like just under my breath, like meow, meow, meow.
Kai really wants to be a cat.
Yep. His redesign is going to be a cat VTuber.
Yeah, he's gonna be a cat boy.
That's.
like,
I mean, nothing against
Yeah?
Yeah.
cat VTubers. DM, you're doing a wonderful job. It's just
Wow!
Wow!
You hear this? Nothing against cat VTubers.
you're doing a wonderful job. I just don't think it's the aesthetic for me.
Says the guy who meows in his sleep.
Yep. I don't think I'm cat-like enough, says the guy who meows in his sleep.
I don't think I suit the persona, says the guy who meows in his sleep.
I don't think I'm cat-like enough, says the guy who meows in his sleep.
Well, what's the last cat-like thing you've done, DM, then? Have you deserved those ears?
Yeah.
Have you earned them?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my
But,
god, that's incredible.
yeah.
Good story.
The second time it happened to me, was when I went for my surgery, when I went for back surgery.
Why?
It was my first major surgery. I've only had like minor things before where they would do like local anesthesia and like, keep me awake.
Mm-hmm.
They tried once before. They tried to like put me under for like wisdom teeth removal, but apparently like the nurse put the mask on me to like they're like, "Okay, breathe, like just take a deep breath. We'll count to 10."
Nice.
And I was just like huffing this gas for like a good 20, 30 seconds and they're just like, "Yeah, he's not going down. What do we do?" So they just like put local anesthesia in my face and I watched a Mr. Bean DVD while they removed my teeth. But anyways, for the back surgery.
Wait. No, I thought the gas is
Hmm?
just supposed to, I think, calm you down. And
yeah,
then I
the
thought
gas is to relax you.
Yeah, and then they give you an IV drip to put you out.
I'm not sure what they did then, but they said clearly he's not asleep yet. So I'm like, oh.
Huh.
Maybe it
But-
was the anesthesiologist's first day on the job.
Oh God.
I don't know. I don't know enough about that. I
That
will
is
say
very scary.
the nurse
Ah,
the nurse at the hospital did put an IV in me when they wheeled
Okay.
me into like the operating room. So I was like coming in through the big double metal doors, and I'm seeing like the surgeon and like a whole team of nurses, and one of them like pokes my arm with a thing, and it's just like, "Oh, I heard you were a student, by the way." I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What school do you go to?" I'm like, "Oh, I go to," and then it was Wednesday.
So what
I
was
don't
your?
I don't remember like even answering her question, and then I suddenly woke up in a different room.
Mhm.
And I'm just like sitting there, well, not sitting there, I'm like lying on my back alone. There's like a terrible itch on my surgical incision scar, and I'm just like, where am I? Who am I? What day is it? Where is it? And then Mama Kai walks in, and just like I couldn't move. I couldn't even wave to her. I just was like, hello.
Mhm.
And then she puts a bag of McDonald's on my bed, and I'm just like, what's this for? And she's like, that's what you asked for. I'm like, I what?
no, no.
Give me McDonald's fries, stat.
McDonald's.
And she's like, we had a whole conversation last night, and you kept saying you wanted McDonald's. And I'm just like, what do you mean last night?
She had to have known you weren't all there. She had to have known.
I was like, what do you mean last night? We had the surgery just a couple hours ago. And she's like, it's Wednesday. We had
Oh,
the surgery
dear.
Monday afternoon.
Ah.
There's a Tuesday there that I just completely do not recall.
Yikes. But at least you got McDonald's out of it.
I don't know how much of it I was awake for, but apparently long enough to ask for McDonald's.
Was it yummy?
I don't remember.
Shame. Focus next time, Kay.
Focus.
I was more bothered by, the burning itch in my back.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll accept that.
Which, I mean,
Yeah.
all things considered, my recovery was very quick.
I remember you
expected
telling me
me-
that, yeah.
They expected me to be like bedridden for like a week, but I was on my feet on like day 3 after spinal surgery. So,
Jeez.
oh, and they're like, here we're keeping this IV in you. It's a painkiller. If it becomes intolerable, press the button once. Don't press it more than once every 4 hours. It is not quite morphine, but still rather addictive. So be careful with it.
Ooh.
I only needed to press it once, and that was out of curiosity more than pain.
Jeez! Why
I
would
was
you
like, oh.
push...
Jeez.
He was like, yeah, just if you need it. I was like, oh, really? Click, click. And then that was it.
Oh, jeez.
And then I never used it again.
And
I
then
was
they
just like,
hated
it's-
you.
Well, I didn't need it again.
They hated
It was,
him because he told the truth.
They also gave me like a bottle of painkillers, and I just didn't have any of it.
That's fair.
Because I'm the world's toughest VTuber.
Mm-hmm. You hear that, chat? He can't
No,
stand the
wait.
burning itch in his spine. But,
Yep.
he's the world's toughest VTuber.
I lied. I know a couple of VTubers. I know a couple of VTubers who are
He knows a couple VTubers.
expecting
Wow. Wait, what?
women giving. Yeah, they're like expecting like babies and stuff.
Well,
Well, yeah, that's
Women
when,
giving
when
birth are
a
the-
rigger,
they're the toughest
when
VTubers.
somebody who does the rigging and an art person come together, they make a VTuber. Yes, that is correct, Kai.
Them having babies,
Dun,
they're
dun,
the
dun,
toughest
dun,
VTubers. They're way tougher than me. They're way tougher than me.
wow.
Congratulations on the babies, by the way.
We don't know who he's talking about, but congrats.
I don't know either. He's,
yeah, no,
he's
it's
stuck
just
in a delirium of sleeplessness. So
it's other people I know.
Kai
I don't.
rolling up. Congratulations to
Ah.
pregnant women everywhere.
You are so tough. You are so strong, Queens. Oh my god.
Kai is gonna start crying and be like, "They're so strong."
You are so strong. Firefighters only carry people on their backs for like minutes at a time. They carry
Why
a
is
whole
this
life
your
for.
analogy?
Especially since
I
firefighters often carry grown people and children alike, not babies that are like, you know. But like, that's very kind of you to
belittling
try and
pregnant
compare.
women.
I mean, I don't
How
know.
dare you, Harune? I will fight for pregnant women equality everywhere.
All right.
They are
Like-
just as important as
Anyway,
firefighters.
Harune, do you have any period of time where you've forgotten?
Well, I too had wisdom teeth removal. I too was put out for that, but I was not assigned the fun parent afterwards, so I have no stories to tell.
Oh.
Plus I'm pretty sure I remember what happened. I think I mentioned this before too. Like, my wisdom teeth removal was scheduled for spring break of my senior year of high school. So, I missed the chance to go on vacation with some friends, which was the only time I've ever been even remotely hinted at being allowed to go. But maybe in hindsight, they only said I would have been allowed to go because they knew I couldn't go. So maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But
Wow.
Why would they even say that to you after it's already like? That's just rubbing it in.
That's some 5D chess they're playing. There.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I remembered what happened before I got conked out. The operation itself only took like 45 minutes. And then I was woken up. I remember being woken up. I don't remember the drive home, but I don't know if I said much. And then I just sort of set up station on the couch, and I spent my spring break with gauze in my mouth, watching Lord of the Rings Extended Edition and behind the scenes. That is all I remember. And even if there was like a gap of memory or time loss, I dropped something. I would not have known because the unfun parent would not have remembered enough detail to tell me in the future. So I don't think so, which is a shame, really. Because I think I've heard some really funny stories of people who have gotten their wisdom teeth removed and just like having these hilarious things that they say or do that they can't remember.
Right.
And I feel like I missed out. I feel like I missed out on
Yeah.
on some sort of storytelling opportunity. Beyond
Kila
that,
Kuma tweeted a video about it yesterday.
yeah,
too.
I know you tagged me in it, and you were like, "I
I
can't
did.
believe you doxed Harune like that."
There's a
really
lady in a
funny.
hospital bed who was like conked out, and then she just kept waking up in bursts, going like, "I want to eat. I want to." But I want to eat.
Yeah, I want chicken.
Chicken fried chicken and chili
cheese
cheese fries.
She'd cry and then she'd conk out, and then she'd wake up and be like, "I want to eat," and then they're like, "We will eat, but you have to wake up." She goes, "I'm awake," and then she would just fall back asleep. It was a pretty good video, and I was like, "Dang, outed! All I do is sleep, wake up, and cry about wanting to eat, and then fall back asleep. That's all I do."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess the short answer, TLDR, is I don't have a gap of memory that other people remember that I don't. Unless if
Oh,
it
I
were stories
see.
of my babyhood, in which case no one would remember that time.
I remember some baby stories of myself. My brain was massive back then. I remember everything.
Wow.
It was so massive
Good.
that they had to be extra careful because every time he took a step, he was too top heavy and boom. Right
Oh
on.
my
Yeah,
God,
it
just
weighed me down. I
smashed.
fell down. I fell down into the basement. That was the story I remember.
Oh God, really?
Yes. But anyways, before we get to that story, DM, do you have any gaps in your memory?
I mean, like I've only been put under once for
Ooh.
stuff, and I was with mom DM, and like I woke up without a hassle afterwards. So there
Oh.
wasn't anything for like modern stuff. The only stuff I have is for like baby stories, which
Oh.
let's see, what ones that I have been told but I do not remember
Mm.
are whenever we'd go to a restaurant, I would reach for the Tabasco bottles. Like the parents had to move it out of my line of sight because I was so
Fixated on hot
focused.
sauce.
I was gonna get those hot sauce bottles. I didn't even like spicy food as a baby. That was one thing. And then one of the other things was that there was a period of time where Mom DM had to go away for a business trip when I was really little. And we were left alone with Dad DM.
Always a good start.
And when she had come back, I had a cold or something. I needed to take some cough medicine. And Mom DM was trying to give me the cold medicine, and I just like in my sleep, and it wasn't working because she was like, "Child, if we wake up the child will be too upset to take the cold medicine. It won't work."
Well, you can't
and
feed
so-
someone things in their sleep, can you? Isn't that dangerous?
So Dad DM takes the cup of the little cup thingy of the cough medicine, and goes, "DM, sit up." And in my sleep, I sit up in the bed.
Oh
He
my
goes,
God.
DM, take the cup. And I put my hand out and I take the cup. He said, DM, drink the medicine. And I drink the medicine. He said, DM, go back to sleep. And I lay back down again. And Mom DM's just like, what did you do to the children while I was away?
Trained them.
That is amazing. Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep,
god.
that's the
Responds
main
to
thing.
verbal commands.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. I don't think I do that anymore because I wake up. I'm a much lighter sleeper now.
Yeah.
I'm clearly not.
Well.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'll share one baby story.
Mhm.
I apparently was like a project vomiter.
Oh
no.
gosh.
So one Christmas, Mama and Papa Rune were shopping for Christmas trees, and they took me with them. And Papa Rune was holding me, and he was wearing either a new coat or just a very nice coat. I cannot remember. And I guess I was showing signs of needing to vomit. And Papa Rene,
no.
in his infinite love and kindness, opened up his... He had nowhere to put me, so he just opened up his coat and let me puke in his coat.
Oh no!
What? But why?
I guess, well, babies, babies puke a lot.
Yeah, they do.
But why in the coat?
Because he didn't...
Nowhere else to
there was
put it.
nowhere else to put me. We weren't... They weren't outside. It was indoors. So they couldn't just let me puke on the floor.
I would have 100% let you just puke on the floor.
Yeah, I would have too. But that's what
Right?
makes what Papa Rene did astounding. Like the fact that he just went, we can't have that. Into the nice coat you go.
I'll apologize to like the staff of the store or whatever, but they have cleaners. They have like
Yeah, well, they
janitors with
have, like-
industrial cleaners.
Well,
As
they
opposed
have
to us
the
out in a
magic
store.
powder. They have the magic powder that you put onto the onto vomit,
Right.
and it makes it solidify and clump up, so it's easy to sweep up.
Oh wow.
And it's like a baby's amount of vomit. Like, I'm sorry for inconveniencing the janitorial staff, but
yeah, well,
I
don't
can't
know.
clean myself out here. You guys can actually clean a floor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I think about it, and maybe Papa Rene just acted on reflex and he wasn't really thinking, because maybe in hindsight he probably was like, yeah, I should have just let you puke on the floor, but I don't know. Another quick one is Papa Rene. Apparently I just spent a lot of time with Papa Rene, but Papa Rene took me grocery shopping,
Wow.
and I wanted
Puked
to
on the
help.
bananas.
No, I wanted to help put the groceries on the conveyor belt at checkout,
Uh-oh.
and he wasn't paying attention to me. So I picked up a carton of eggs. But of course, baby Rene does not have the strength to pick up a carton of eggs
Oh no!
in like regular fashion. So I picked it up by the corner and just lifted it up, and all the eggs tumbled out onto the floor.
Oh
And
Oh, no.
Papa Rene was sad. He just said he'd pay for the broken egg carton and then went to get a new one. So we had to pay for 2 egg cartons. But
Oh,
no.
no.
I was just trying to be helpful. But Yeah, of course, baby Harune does not know better. But those are the only 2 stories I was told.
My goodness.
Yar.
Oh, I have one more. I have one more.
Ooh,
That reminded
let's
me.
hear it,
Your
let's
story
hear it.
reminded me. So, when I was another young DM story, we were on a road trip, and we're driving through a mountain pass area, and I'm like, Mom DM, my mouth feels weird.
Oh no.
I don't feel so good.
Oh,
and
no.
Mom DM is just like, okay, honey, we'll get to a rest stop soon, kind of thing. And I was just like, I don't. This feels really weird. And she's like, don't worry, I'll get to rest stop soon. And of course, I just like vomit all over the back of the car. And
Oh,
Mom DM was like, in
no.
hindsight, we should have just pulled over to the side. It was summertime,
Yeah.
and we had a car that didn't have air conditioning either.
Oh
The
no,
whole
so you
rest
just
of the
sat
car
with
trip.
pukey air.
Yeah, the whole rest of the car trip was just DM puke car.
Oh no.
But Mom DM was like, in hindsight, you actually did give us like a fair bit of warning. We should have just pulled over and let you throw up outside of the car.
Yeah. That's
I'm
you
actually
know,
apparently I'm quite good. I was quite good as a child at throwing up. Sibling DM was sick once, and they had a bunk bed, and they were in the top bunk.
Oh.
And instead of getting down from the bed, they just leaned over. And,
Oh god.
all over the floor, just like
Oh
the
my
velocity
God.
of it just sent the vomit all the way across the entire floor, and they just all over the
Jeez.
floor. Meanwhile, I would be like,
goodness.
I'd wake up in the morning and be like, oh, before I'm out the door to school, oh, I threw up a bunch last night, and Mom DM's like, wait, you can't go to school like this.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh
Good
goodness.
lord.
Have these become throw up stories now? Because I've got those too.
Thanks for your topic, Kai.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I do have a couple of baby stories too. One of them I have vague recollection of, but the other one I don't remember at all. Which is shocking because I imagine the second story is one that I should remember.
Mhm.
The one that I kind of remember was back when I was still diaper age and crawling
Yeah.
around because I couldn't walk properly. I remember very carefully like lowering myself down the stairs one by one until I got to the basement. It was some sort of celebration. I don't know, Christmas, New Year's, or whatever. I just know that it was a party. Papa Kai had a bunch of grown-ups in the basement with him, and they had like loud music playing, and they had juice. They had juice, and I, as a baby, really wanted juice. So I crawled to Papa Kai, and in his infinite wisdom, he offered me bubbly juice.
Mm.
And I was told after that, because this is the part I don't remember, that apparently I couldn't stay on all fours. I tried to climb back up the stairs, and I just couldn't.
Oh.
Wait,
Because it wasn't.
Did
it
he give you
wasn't juice.
champagne?
It could have been beer, it could have been champagne, I don't know. I had a
Oh,
sip of
no.
something, and they said that I couldn't make my way back up the stairs. I
Oh
kept
my
like
god, he gave you alcohol?
I kept getting like
That's-
halfway up a step and then just like rolling over.
That's illegal.
No! Papa Kai, what the heck? No.
It was like probably just a sip. I don't know.
But still, like, for a baby so young, like...
I mean, they rub rum on babies' lips to get them to stop crying or whatever. I assume it was something along those lines.
Shut up and get back up the stairs.
But also, apparently there was a period in my life, which I don't even remember this part, where my mother and my aunts, my mom's the youngest of 4 sisters, and they all had children at around the same time. So I have a whole slew of cousins that are like close to me in age. But apparently there was a period in time where they would just trade children for a day.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like my mom would take care of a cousin, my aunt would take care of me, etc. and etc. and etc. I was told that at one point I was hanging out with the eldest aunt for a day, and we were to meet up with all the other aunts and cousins and then go out for dinner together.
Trade back your babies and then go out to eat.
Exactly. I don't remember this happening at all, but apparently eldest aunt saw I told eldest aunt that I was hungry before dinner. So she gave me a piece of ham. Just cold cut sandwich ham.
Mhm.
Just ham.
And little baby me was just like walking along beside her, ripping off little bites of ham and stuffing them in my little mouth. Um, Now, we were all supposed to meet at eldest aunt's house, so she was taking me back home. And we opened the door, all the other aunts and all the other children were there, but so was Auntie's dog. Her name was Holly. Holly saw the ham and really wanted the ham. I was told that little baby me really didn't want Holly to get the ham. So I stored the ham in the safest place that I could find, in my mouth.
Oh no.
Little baby me just stuffed all the ham in little baby mouth, and Holly, being a doog, did her best to get at the ham,
Oh god.
and just took my little baby head in her big mouth.
Oh my god.
No.
I was wearing her like a toque, like a balaclava.
Oh my
Um,
god.
And apparently Holly bit a hole in my cheek,
Oh, yikes.
Jeez.
which Mama Kai now tells me it healed without scarring up, and I'm just like, I had a hole in my cheek, and she's like, yeah, no, she poked a hole in your cheek. I was like, oh my god,
Yikes.
I have no memory of this. Maybe for good
Really
reason.
wanted that ham. Good lord.
No, yeah. Oh my goodness, it's like those cartoons where you just see like the big mouth chomp onto a head, and the whole
Yeah.
head's just. It was kind of like that.
I mean, that must have been terrifying in the moment, though.
Oh, I don't remember this at all.
I
but
just mean,
assume
like,
so.
even from, like, your Mama Kai and
Yeah,
Auntie
probably
Kai's.
from the parents, like
Yeah.
the adults'
Just being
perspective.
like, my
it's just
dog
like,
is going to eat my nephew.
But Holly was a pretty big dog, and I was a pretty small bab at the time.
Well, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I had a mouthful-sized head. But anyways, that's enough of a segue from my topic of things we've forgotten.
Wow.
DM, do you have a topic?
A toe pick.
A topic?
I do not have a toe pick itself. I don't believe in toe interaction. Okay.
Unsolicited toe picks.
Out of this. Yeah, I don't know.
Blech.
Actually, I wanted to know, have you been to a fancy restaurant and did you know how to eat with the utensils layout?
I love that question. And to be honest, I have been scouring through. Oh, my laundry's done. I've been scouring
Wow.
through, like, local eatery websites to try and find a fancy restaurant just to,
Mhm.
like, have that experience once and figure out what to do with all the utensils. Like, but I've never, I never have. But I have
Never
wanted
been.
to, and that's
you
my.
want to.
I do, and I want to go, like, I want to go in blind. Like, I want to be absolutely flabbergasted. Like, I want to go in and be like, which fork is for what? I'm going to use
Yep.
both forks at once,
Yep. 'Cause
simultaneously.
usually, let's see, there's usually, I think there's up to 3 spoons usually, 2 to 3 forks,
Mm-hmm.
2 knives, and
Mhm.
then multiple placements for the different plates and various things. So when I was in university, I was in a scholarship group, and part of it was every year we had a retreat thing that we had to go to, and there would always be a highly formal dinner.
Ooh.
So they would give us, we had like an hour-long session beforehand, like, because we'd go to the retreat thingy in the afternoon, check into our hotel and everything. And then there would be like an hour-long session beforehand explaining how to eat at the formal thing. Because the guy that started the scholarship did not get higher education, and he wound up being a very successful businessman.
Okay.
And
Ooh.
part of what he had set up was that he wanted the people that were in this scholarship group, because it was a certain, like, you had to be within a certain income range and such.
Mhm.
He wanted to make sure that they would have the opportunity to have the knowledge of how to eat at a formal dinner, just in case you were in a situation where you needed to eat at a formal dinner.
That's
And
fair.
then you could do so without embarrassing yourself, because
Right.
part of fancy dinner etiquette is for people that are knowledgeable about the fancy dinner etiquette to be able to have a reason to mock people that don't. That's part of it.
Wow.
Gosh.
That's actually like historically part of it. The upper class.
I was like, you don't know what to
Had
do
all
with
these
your second fork?
Yep. Arbitrary stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, arbitrary, you don't need all of those forks and spoons and such, but they had arbitrary rules set up for things, and you wouldn't know unless you'd been specifically taught, and most of the people that were in the working class were not going to have the opportunity to be specially taught on how to have your dinner etiquette.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so
How
Harune
bougie.
wants to, but hasn't. How about you, Kai?
I don't think I've ever gone to one that's like fancy enough to that extent. I mean, some
Mhm.
places I go to do have like two spoons, but one's very clearly the soup spoon and one's like the dinner spoon. We haven't had like those multi-stage courses where you would get like a sorbet spoon and like a fruit spoon and whatever and whatever.
Mhm.
Although I think I do have a vague idea the order in which you're supposed to eat your fancy meal with what utensils.
Mhm.
Am I allowed to take a guess? Or is this part of your story where you'll explain it to us commoners?
Oh, no, I'm not going to explain because Harune wants it to
Oh no, I mean
to
you
be.
you probably can now. I feel like I have, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I heard somewhere, or maybe this is just me guessing, pulling this out of my butt.
Uh-huh.
But I thought you start with the inner utensils and work out.
I was the opposite. I think my understanding was out to in.
Okay, well what do I know? I've literally never been to one. But
Well,
you
no,
should
we
enlighten
could let
us.
we could let DM, tell
Yeah,
us who's
you
correct,
should
or if
tell
we're
us.
both wrong. Maybe we zigzag. Who knows?
So, the way you use the utensils at the formal dinner
Hmm.
is that it is generally from the outside in. So you want to start from the farthest away from the plate and then work your way inward.
I'm fancier than Harune. DM confirmed. Thank you very much.
And the other thing that's important is that you'll have different bowls and different plates, and depending on how fancy it is, you also need to be careful of which hand you are using with your fork.
Oh, okay. I I don't deserve to be in fancy dinner settings then.
Why?
Because generally, no matter whether you're left-handed or right-handed, the fork goes in the left, the knife goes in the right, correct?
Yes. If you're,
I'm-
Not necessarily.
isn't it like if you're
I'm-
cutting meats?
So the American style is that you put the fork in your opposite hand of your dominant hand, and then you use the knife in your coordinated hand to cut the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then you're supposed to put the knife down and swap back over to your dominant hand to use the fork to actually eat. the
Right.
meat.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't just keep your knife in your hand, and then and just chow down one bite at a time. I do remember learning when I was in middle school that you shouldn't cut up all your food at once either. Like that's actually poor etiquette.
Yeah, well, because you need to. It's not so much in the air of efficiency, but in the air of the rules,
Elegance.
right?
Yeah,
Elegance, right?
elegance. That's right.
So it's bread is like, for example, bread is a finger food.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you can't use your fork for it. If you want to have smaller pieces, you're supposed to take bite-sized pieces off and then butter them 1 or 2 bites at a time. And
Oh,
if you put butter on the entire slice of bread, that's terribly embarrassing. Because it gives
Oh.
away your lack of understanding of proper table manners.
Wait.
So be as inefficient as possible, and you'll be
Yes.
super elegant.
Pretty much. Like with soup, can't pick up the bowl
Right.
at all.
Right.
That my Chinese is showing. All right.
And no slurping noises when you have the soup.
And you're
No
supposed
clinking
to
the
drink
spoon against the
from
bowl.
No, and you're supposed to. I
Nope.
think aren't you supposed to drink out from the side of the spoon?
You're supposed to have the spoon. So you bring the soup spoon to your mouth and tilt it from the edge. So you
Right.
don't put the entire spoon in your mouth at all.
Right.
You just have to drink your soup out of your spoon
Without slurping.
without slurping.
So you just wrap your lips around it from the side.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
usher it into
and
your
then-
mouth.
And you have to, if you want to take a drink of anything, you are not to have any utensils in your hand.
Right.
You have to rest your utensils on the edge of your plate instead. You cannot put it back into the lineup once you've started using the utensils. They now need to rest on your plate. And then there's different codes for how to indicate to the serving staff that you want more or want need something refilled or you need less stuff, right?
I think
So-
oh, can I take a guess on this?
Sure, yeah.
If you put like your napkin over your glass or something like that, you indicate that you don't want anything else. I'm probably totally wrong, actually. An absolute
That
wild
one-
guess.
So generally, you're not going to put your napkin because it's a dirty piece of cloth, right? You're not
Oh,
generally going
okay.
to put that up onto the table where it's going to be visible to other people.
Mm.
You indicate with your cutlery
Oh, about your
and how you lay it on your plate.
about your beverage
cutlery,
refill?
For beverage refills, generally, the beverage ones are. Hang on a minute. Actually, I'll have to look this one up.
Oh, I thought that's what you were referring to was beverage refills.
No, I was talking about the cutlery. The cutlery.
If you need a cutlery refill?
No. So when you, so you get served additional food sometimes, right? Or if
Right.
you are
Mhm.
taking a break and you're in the
Mhm.
middle of talking to people,
Mm-hmm.
how do you indicate to the staff whether you want some more food or that you're still eating?
I'm not going to answer that because I realize I'm the epitome of peasantry in my manners. I mean I'll go over how I do it, but later. You finish first.
I think to indicate that you're done, don't you like put your knife through the fork prongs or something like that and then rest it? I've seen Mama Rune do it.
So if that one means that you did not like the food,
Oh god, okay.
that
Then
means
she's
that
just
you did not
insulting
like
herself
it.
all the time. Okay.
Yes. So there's two ways to say that you're finished. Well, there's multiple ways to say you're finished. So
Okay.
first of all, if you put the fork and knife parallel, pointing directly away from you,
Mm.
just sitting next to each other, that means you're finished. You can also turn them slightly to the side, and that also means you're finished. If you want to communicate that you thought the food was excellent, you turn them sideways, but still parallel. So like having the fork tines and the tip of the knife pointing off to the right side,
Okay.
that indicates you thought that it was excellent.
Okay.
If you put the knife through the fork tines and make kind of a corner shape and put that on your plate, that means you did not like the food.
Oh boy. Okay.
And then if you want more food, you're ready for the next dish to come, you're going to make a cross shape with your fork and knife on the plate.
Oh, okay.
And if you are still intending to eat your food, but maybe you're just taking a little break, waiting for things to settle a bit, then you have them at angles pointing towards each other, like you put the fork and the knife diagonally on opposite sides of the plate. That means you're just taking a break, because then you can still pick up the ends of them and continue your eating.
Okay. That's
Oh.
wild. Okay. Whew, that's too much to think about. Wow.
That is quite a bit. I mean, all these rules and regulations. As you're listing them off, I realize I'm doing quite the opposite of basically everything you're saying.
This is for fancy dining, and there's additional rules specifically to oust the people that wouldn't know.
So they try to make it as complicated as possible so you can embarrass yourself, essentially.
Yes.
Only the cool
yes.
kids know the secret eating handshake, and if you don't know it, then you're not a cool kid.
Yep.
I realize now that when I have a meal with the M, she's just going to make fun of me incessantly for being the peasant.
Well, no. Part of the like modern day, because of how things are. Part of the fun for me for going to a fancy restaurant is indulging in this archaic rule set on what's proper to eat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy the different rule sets on how to do things. Like I enjoy tea ceremony. I enjoy eating. Like when I get Indian food, for the most part, I eat it with my hand. Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like indulging in the different ways to eat. So for me, I think it's entertaining for the formal dining settings to try to like follow the rules and do all the fancy stuff, right?
It's kind of like a game. You're
Right.
making it to the next
it's
level.
like a game. Yeah.
If we were to dine in such a setting, I think I would as well.
Me
It's
too.
just the usual places I eat are very casual Asian restaurants, kind of like family style restaurants. So, um, as you were listing off, like, oh, you should do this. I'm like, oh, I definitely don't do that. You should do this. Oh, I definitely don't do that. It's like, what was it? You have codes to your waiter. Us, we just like we wave our hand and shout at them, and if they don't see us, we wave the
Come
menu at them
here.
and shout at us.
Yeah, with
Just
the formal
여기요.
with the formal dining, like typically you're not going to interact with the staff, right? Because historically they would have been below your stature and they should theoretically know how to serve and pay attention to the demeanor of the guests as opposed to asking them about things, right?
Right. It's like
Which
Black
is
Butler.
Once again,
funny.
it's all frivolity and silly rules that aren't necessarily needed. Like some of the formal play settings, you'll have 3 different glasses, 4 different cups for your beverages.
Right. But I could see how that's like kind of fun for an evening. You're like, I'm going to
Yeah.
play the posh game and pretend to be posh while all these other posh people are just being silly by being so posh. And it's like going to
So-
a football game and like painting your face and like
Yeah.
being amongst the face painters, and you're like, I'm generally not one of you, but I'll play along for today.
So Kai, do you want to know the absolute hack for if you go into a formal setting and you sit down and you realize as you start cold sweat dripping down your face, you realize that it's a formal dining situation?
Sit
You know
next to
how to get
DM
away with it?
and copy your homework.
Yep, copy everything. That's what Dad DM did because Mom DM's family would do like the formal dining setup, like full set of china, full set of silver
Oh,
cutlery
Lord.
and such.
Why?
And because the formality, right?
For
Upper
holidays
class
or?
formality. Yep, for holidays.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just like when you come over for Sunday dinner. I was like, why would you do
No,
that?
not for normal stuff. Yeah, but that
Uh-huh.
would be their standard, like how they would have the layout for everything. Like Mom
Wow,
DM
so
has stories about how her and her sisters would be polishing the silver for hours to prepare for everything, right?
My
Oh
God.
goodness.
Yep. So Dad DM would just like when he came over for a fancy meal, he sat down and he was like, "Oh God!" And so he literally copied every single thing Mom DM did, from what she was eating, what she took a bite of next, whenever she took a drink. He followed literally everything she did. He didn't touch any of the food unless Mom DM took a bite of it, so that he knew the proper way to eat it.
That's incredible. But you know what? You gotta do what
That
you
would have
gotta
been my
do to
plan too.
survive. Yeah.
That would have been my plan as well.
I respect it.
But it's funny that you brought up like, oh, you know, like a really high class restaurant. They don't even ask you how you're doing. They're supposed to know. It's
Mhm.
funny how Mama Kai categorizes restaurants.
Mhm.
In that we frequent a lot of Asian restaurants because we live in an Asian community, and well, we're Asian. But
You
even
don't
to her,
say.
um, to her, she doesn't call them like Asian restaurants and like Western restaurants. She calls them like high class restaurants and normal restaurants, and she
What?
differentiates it based on who's doing the asking. If the wait staff ask you how you're doing and if they can get you anything, it's a high class restaurant. If you have to ask them for anything, it's a normal restaurant.
Wow.
So we do have a lot of like Asian run like French restaurants, Asian run like English style restaurants that like the wait staff generally ask you how you're doing and ask you if you want anything. So in her eyes, that's like that's high class. We can't even imagine people like just doing things without being asked either way.
That is pretty wild.
That would be super high class.
Especially
But,
since that
I-
like oh, go ahead.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was,
I was saying I've been to a couple of places that are like that, because like I'm in a fashion group, and so
Mhm.
we will specifically, because we'll do like meetups once a month, once every
Ooh.
other month, or so, and we will
Ooh.
specifically like find the really fancy places and do a reservation so that we can do the fanciest thing. Just because it's when you're able to, it's fun to indulge in the the pageantry.
Yeah.
But I
Oh, is
want
this
to
when you were
normally go to
wearing
a
the
fancy restaurant all the time. Yeah, fancy dresses. Yeah.
the one with the sword fighting mice?
Yes, that would be one of the times that I would wear that.
That is the
when
only
we
dress
go
of
out.
yours I remember, and it is my favorite dress.
It's the hamster princess.
Aw.
Sword fighting
It
hamster
is
princess dress.
it is an amazing dress. I love it.
Yep. I'm gonna eventually make armor to wear for it.
She's being
Yes.
serious. She's being 100% serious.
No, I
She's
know
going,
she is.
100% serious.
She's gonna make
Yep.
armor to wear with her sword fighting dress.
Yes.
Yes, it's gonna be super cute.
Wow.
Super cute. Yeah, no, the way we go to like fancy places like that, and do the reservations and make sure that we sit through and do all this stuff. It's so neat.
Mm.
Aw.
You
Yeah.
have told me a couple times about it. I do remember you sounding like you had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There was that one time you went on a picnic too with like cup udon and in fancy dress.
Yes. We went to a picnic and went outside, and I have a thermos that keeps the water like super duper hot. So I put the boiling water in there, and we went on the picnic, and I made myself cup udon and had everything set up. It was great.
That's pretty dope.
In fancy dress. But you were mentioning how like, oh, you're supposed to have like the fork in your left and the knife in your right or dominant hand, and
Right.
then you cut and then you change hands, you put down the knife, da da da. I'm the like out of everyone I know, out of everyone I've ever dined with, they all do the fork and left dominant hand knife thing.
Mm.
When I eat with a knife and fork, that is the only time I've trained myself to use a knife in the left hand. The fork never leaves my dominant hand. The entire meal, the fork is glued to my hand. I tried to explain because like you mentioned how like when you take a drink, you're not supposed to hold utensils.
Yeah.
I still hold the fork when I grab my drink, and I'm like,
Oh,
I was
no.
trying to explain how I hold my fork because I do this thing where I like tuck and weave the fork between my fingers, and I settled for just having to illustrate it. But I essentially do this, where I
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
you're
like I weave the fork
Yeah.
between my fingers to hold it like that,
Wait,
pointy
I
end
need
up.
to wait. I need to put this on the screen. Hang on, I'm gonna save this image, and
And then I pick up the glass. I drink it while being very careful not to poke my eye out. But the fork doesn't leave my hand until the meal is over.
that's actually kind of funny because I'm a little bit. I don't want to say I'm a little bit of the opposite because I do switch my hands when I have to use a knife, but then my fork never leaves my left hand. So I'm right hand dominant. I'm right-handed.
Me too.
But
Me
I
too.
will eat an entire meal with my left hand if I ever need to use a knife for anything. And then if I do need to grab a beverage, normally I don't drink when I eat. I think that's super weird that people drink when they eat.
But how do you wash the food down?
I don't choke myself with it. How do you eat without dying then?
Guys over here, every meal is a battle for my life. And Harune's just like,
Listen,
"Don't
it is
Oh, God.
efficiency. It is efficiency. Okay, like
Ginormous.
us peasants, we have a limited amount of time to eat. We can't spend 3 hours being hoity-toity.
But
Just get it all in your mouth and then cram it down with some water.
wait, hang on. I'm putting the image of Kai's hand and how he holds the fork onto the
like-
screen.
The fork never leaves my dominant hand. I've trained myself to use a knife left-handed. If I need to grab anything, either I do the finger weave with the fork or I put down the knife, but the fork never leaves my hand.
Well,
Wow. DM's just simmering in disappointment. DM's vowing never to take me to fancy dinner.
well, that could
"I'll take
actually
you to
be
fancy
fun.
dinner and you can just stay in the car."
Well, that could be like a really fun like GHK experience.
Fancy
Yeah.
dinner?
Yeah, to like, I don't know, y'all. If you want to donate to the fancy dinner GHK experience, you can donate. I don't know. We don't have a donation up or available.
We'll
but
donate with your heart.
yeah, that's right. And then
Fund your emotions to us.
And then if we ever do meet up, maybe we can one day make reservations for a fancy place and then
Mm-hmm.
flaunt poshness for an evening. That could be really fun, actually.
What do you mean if? Don't you mean when?
Yes.
If
Eh.
we have to see if Kai is okay with the with getting bullied consistently forever. You know.
That's right. He's gotta be able to handle it.
So, Harune, what's your topic?
Well, I sure am glad I'm going last, because that would have taken all the fun out of all the other topics. My
dear.
topic, well, before I
Dear.
even start, here's my starter question for the whole thing. What do you guys think of bats?
They're pretty cool.
You like them? Are you scared
I
of
like
them?
bats. Nope.
When they pop out of nowhere, they're a little bit startling. But like seeing them up close and like handling a bat, like I'm fine with that.
I love bats.
Bats are pretty cool.
Probably not a
They
wild
do carry,
bat.
They do carry rabies though, so you have to
They
be
Exactly,
do.
probably not a
careful
wild
with that.
bat, but like at a zoo and stuff, if a trainer like handed me a bat and told me to hold on to it, I'd be like, sure.
Aw.
Did you know? So bats can sleep upside down
Hmm.
because their leg muscles, when they are relaxed, cause them to hold on.
Oh, so it's almost like baby grip, where they just have like no
Yeah.
control over their muscles and they just clench.
Yeah, it just holds on. So when they're sleeping, they don't have to worry about because if you're a human and you're just like, oh god, if I let go of this bar, I'll die, right? The bats are just like, I'm relaxed now, so it just
It's like those like long like magic hand things where you have to squeeze it
Yeah.
to open it up, and then like when you let
Yeah.
go, it like closes.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. I know a lot of people, especially young kids, they tend to be scared of bats because they think all bats are vampire bats.
Mhm.
And they aren't, aware or educated enough about bats in general to know that most bats,
Mhm.
like a majority of bats, just eat like fruit, nectar,
Mhm.
bugs, sometimes frogs, right? But like they
Yeah.
won't eat a child, right? Like that's not a thing.
Even then, from what I understand, it took me a while to learn this, but apparently vampire bats are not like vampires you see in television, where they'll like just like
Oh.
chomp down and then suck for a really long time. They
No,
like just kind of like exactly. They like they just usually hop on like farm animals and cows and stuff, and they'll like do the thing where they like poke a hole in their skin, kind of like Holly did,
right.
and then like just kind of like lick up. They'll lick up like a sip of blood, and it's like honestly, mosquitoes are more terrifying.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say that
Mosquitoes
they're
act more like vampires than
Vampires do.
vampire bats do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And on that train of thought, apparently scientists have figured out why vampire bats are the only mammals that can survive on a diet of just blood. This is coming from apnews.com. So AP, I guess it stands for Associated Press. So the Associated Press News.com. But this is what they say. So it says they compared the genome of common vampire bats to 26 other bat species and identified 13 genes that are missing or no longer work in vampire bats. So it says over the years, these gene tweaks helped them adapt to a blood diet rich in iron and protein, but with minimal fats or carbohydrates. So they're not very big. They're about 3 inches long, and they have a wingspan of about 7 inches. And just like how Kai explained it, like they just kind of poke a hole and then they lick. They go like, wow, and then that's sort of their feeding process. But it's also purely just from livestock or just other animals at night, right? Whatever. So it says most mammals couldn't survive on a low-calorie liquid diet of blood. Only 3 vampire species of the 1,400 kinds of bats can do that. The others eat mostly insects, fruits, nectar, pollen, or meat, such as small frogs and fish. They go on to say that blood is a terrible food source. It's totally bizarre and amazing that vampire bats can survive on blood. They are really weird even among bats. So that's... And they do go on to say that, like, the other creatures that have a taste for blood are mosquitoes, bedbugs, leeches, and fleas. Yeah, I know. Thinking about those definitely gives me the willies more than thinking about a vampire bat. Like, it just can't compare. But, yeah, so I feel like it takes some... It's interesting to know instead of, like... Because we always think, especially in, you know, thanks to television, that it's some sort of, like, genetic mutation. Like, it's like, oh, they have these extra genes or these extra powerful genes that, like, cause this urge for bloodlust. But it's just like, no, actually, they have, like... 13 genes that don't work. Like they are faulty genes. And that's why they are the way they are. And then, you know, Darwinism, I guess, will take care of the rest.
They are very broken bats, literally surviving off like life support.
Yes, exactly. So the paper that they that was published for this research also showed so vampire bats are different from even every other closely related bats, the ones that eat fruit and nectar. So like even though they are all within like the umbrella, under the umbrella of being called a bat, like they're so different because of these 13 lack or faulty genes that just like they're pretty funky even for bats. But what's really interesting is what I'm about to read next. With such a low-calorie diet, vampire bats can't go long without a meal. In a pinch, well-fed ones will regurgitate their food to share with a starving neighbor.
Like birds.
Yeah, except instead of regurgitating for their babies, they'll just see a friend in need and go, here, bleh. Which is kind of sweet. They seem to keep track of who has helped them in the past, noting that vampire bats have complex social relationships. It's not a kin thing. They just notice and remember, you're a good sharer, I will reward you. And that's... like, how nice is that? Vampire bats are nicer to each other than, like, some people on this planet. Like... they will literally puke up food to feed their starving neighbor. Yep. Not that I recommend any of us do that, because that's pretty... It wouldn't work the same way, but...
Guys, I haven't had lunch yet. I literally just woke up. I'm hungry.
Well, I will not regurgitate
just wants a
my
bat
food.
to throw up in his mouth for him. Back to vomit.
Oh my... yeah, that's somehow all tied into puke. It's full circle. But, yeah, I just kind of find that fascinating. Once again, so many people seem, like, terrified of vampire bats, and they sort of get a bad rep. But not only are they not, like, blood-sucking demons, they just kind of poke and lick, but they also are willing to help a friend out. If you did them a good turn, they'll feed you if you're starving, you know? Which is, like, you know, it's like poor giving to the poor, because... you know, a blood diet, as I mentioned earlier, is a terrible source of food. Like, it's not a good diet to begin with. So to, like, puke and share your food when you already are surviving on so little, I think that means a lot. It's really sweet.
Right. And like you said, they're, like, super small. They're, like, what, 3 by 7 inches?
Yeah.
They're tiny.
Like,
they're little babies. They're so cute.
Realistically, I can't imagine their bite being any worse than, like, a paper cut.
Yeah.
Like you'll lose maybe like a couple drops of blood at best if they were to like bite a human, I guess. But like you said, they more or less exclusively bite livestock.
Right. And it's not like, you know, the entire swarm of vampire bats are like all going for the same cow. You know what I mean? Like a cow can shake them off, so they can't really afford to be there for very long anyway.
Look how big the cow is. Look how much blood is in that cow. It's not going to use all that cow. It's not going to use all that blood, Miriam. It can share. It can share. It's got. Look at all that blood.
If I were a child and I, what are they going to do with all that blood? I'd give her the blood.
Oh.
Anyway, a reference no one will get, I don't think. But
which is on Tinder.
Which is on Tinder. That's a great little skit. But yeah, so that's my very short but I found it pretty fascinating little topic. And I know it's not Halloween. Yeah. It's far from Halloween. We're like smack dab in the middle of seasons. They are cool and they're cute and you know, full circle on puke, and so I'm pretty proud of that.
At the rate we're going, this episode might just come out on Halloween.
Bruh.
Welcome to the Halloween special of
We'll be
GHK
fine,
season
it'll
2.
be
No,
fine.
we're only one episode behind, and Uya's working on it, so I have faith.
Yeah, we're fine. We're good.
Yeah.
I might be 2 episodes behind on the title cards.
No? You gave us episode 7, I think. Didn't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Those
right.
the soda cans.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we did talk about soda like a month and a half ago. That's true.
right. So
Soda-ne.
I love that. I love that. So I'll have to ask Uya where episode 7 is. Or episode 8, whichever one it is. I can't remember.
One of them.
One of them. But yeah, I guess that's it. Any closing thoughts at all? Any
No
announcements
thoughts.
to make?
Head empty. All the
Cows
time.
can't go downstairs.
That is probably very true.
I'm trying to think. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. I don't know what I can and cannot announce.
Okay, that's fair. You can announce it
Um,
when you feel you are good and ready.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, the
Yes.
ones that I have talked about, I guess. I'm making a new live 2D model. Yay!
Yay!
I'm in the process of making new. I'm still kind of sleepy. I'm sorry for my feigned enthusiasm.
No, you're fine.
New live 2D model. Yay!
Yay! And then,
Soon.
And then in May, whenever
Mhm.
that podcast episode rolls around, you will also see me in a new model. So yay!
Yay!
Fuck
New models
yes!
for
Look at
everybody.
Fuck
me.
yes!
Yeah, you too.
Yay! I am excited.
Yay!
I've been on a bit of a streaming break due to like family things, and I am
Mhm.
it's taking a lot of willpower not to just go live and stream with my new model right now. Because I have the model.
Yeah.
We just have to prepare
Mhm.
everything else for the debut, and like, you know,
Mhm.
debut prep takes a lot of work, and it's a lot of micromanaging, and it's like throwing a really big party for somebody, and you have to make sure that like you have all of the finer things in line,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
I just want to get the party over with. I want the thing.
I don't know if I'm gonna do one when I
That's
have the new model. I might just like do a
You just
reveal
roll
and be
up?
like, "Yep," just suddenly show up in a new look one day.
I think that's very on brand for you, and I would love it if you did that. Not gonna lie.
Mhm.
I won't. I mean, like, I'm not gonna prepare the whole like slideshow intro music video.
No,
thing
no,
that
of
you
course
see
not. I
everywhere.
don't even think I'm doing that.
I'm
I
not.
think
I'm not
that's
made
silly.
of money. I can't do that.
No, that's fine. You do
I
what
mean,
is
I-
well within your budget.
I eat with a single fork for crying out loud. I'm a peasant.
I can't believe this peasantry.
I can't
God.
afford to be a high class VTuber.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all about the quality of your content, not about how much you paid for everything. It's no
Thank
big
you for
deal.
reaffirming the fact that I'm a peasant.
I listen. You said that. You make more than I do. I'm the peasant here. You know this. So it's fine.
Okay, Miss Twitch partner, Harune streams.
That means nothing. Oh my god. All right. Anyway,
All right.
on
All
that
right.
jolly,
Let's punch the
jolly
little guy
note.
down when we're not recording.
That's right. Kai can go back to sleep now. He can talk
No,
to
I
me
can't go
when
back
he's
to
fully
sleep.
awake.
No, I
Fine,
can't.
And he's gonna next GHK is gonna be like, "What's something that you've forgotten that you've done?" And we'll be like, "We just talked about this," and he'll be like, "No,
Be
we
like,
didn't." And I'll be
rewatch
like,
last episode.
Wait a minute. And he's like, "What last episode? We're on episode 9."
Oh god, if he says it's episode 9 again, I will genuinely believe him. I will forget
It
that
is.
it's episode 10.
Oh no.
Episode 10. Oh my god. That means
Episode 10.
that means it'll be the season finale, won't it?
Yeah.
Because we did that last year too, didn't we? We took the summer off and then we came back in the fall.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
we
my
also did
gosh.
we did the summer Discord stage live.
Oh, that's
last
right.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Maybe
did.
we could do like another live thing again. It doesn't have to be through
Yeah,
Discord, but
maybe.
even just like someone's live stream.
Looking
Yeah.
at DM expectantly.
DM's gonna live stream it.
Way unexpectedly.
Oh no, we just did it in DM server last time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we could just do it as like a live stream rather than a Discord
Yeah,
live.
yeah, we could just do like a Twitch stream on it.
Yeah.
Instead, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. That would be really fun. Well, we can discuss this in post, but
Post.
yeah, in post. But I can't wait. So next time, get prepared for the season finale. We'll have to come up with something really fun.
Nice.
Maybe like a final game or something to play, or something like that. Something
Yeah.
that'll leave a mark but
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Oh God.
We'll plan that. No, like a positive mark. Come on, man. Don't be scared.
Oh,
It's gonna be fine.
as soon as you said we're gonna play a game that leaves a mark, I kept thinking of that one game where they like weave the knife between their fingers.
Good God, what's wrong with you?
Oh yeah,
no.
yeah. We're gonna stab Kai.
Yeah, there we go. We're gonna murder Kai on our season finale. That's
our season finale. Is we're gonna take out one of the members of GHK.
and you guys
Everybody
don't know who
celebrate!
it's gonna be. Cough,
Who's
cough,
going to be the
God.
one that's removed?
There's gonna be
Find out.
there's gonna be a new K in season 3, isn't there?
Yeah,
you don't know. K stands for kill. Anyway,
Anyways,
yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we are looking forward to seeing you again for the season finale. So, それでは皆さん、またね。バイバイ。
Bye.